Hi everyone. So it's time to study reading now. So I want you to open your Skillful 3 books and the Unit 2, and the name is Design. In this unit we're going to discuss, we're going to compare actually the human power and the machines. Have you ever thought, what if we replace the machines with the human power like we used to, like 100 or 150 years ago? What would it take? How long would it take to these jobs? Let's check them. For example, harvest all the corn grown in the United States in 1 year. It says, according to research, 7.8 million people, if 7.8 million people work for 24 hours a day, non-stop, they can finish it in 60 days for 1 year. And the second one, if you check how to do a carpet, make a Persian rug for 1% of the households in the United States, it will take for 10,000 people working for 24 hours, 12 hours a day, and through the whole year, without stopping, 365 days a year for, not 1 year, 610 years. And the last example is about the jeans, which we all wear every day. So make all of the blue jeans sold in the United States in 1 year. How long? 10,000 people working for 24 hours a day, through the whole day, 1 year for 33 years. Just for 1 year, jeans sold in the United States. Now we're going to watch a video about it to compare them. It's about man versus machine, so there's a comparison between them. But before we watch, we need to do a vocabulary exercise. We need to match them. I'll give you some time to match them, and then I'll give you the answer. They are easy to do, and there's only 5. That's why I'm starting. So let's start with the artisan. It comes from art, so you can guess it. Artisan is about a person, a skilled person who make things by hand. What about decline? Decline is to become smaller or fewer, so like incline or decrease. And factor, 3. Factor is A part of a situation, like in Turkish, and 4, income tax, so it's about money. So which one? B, a percentage of the money you earn that is paid to the government, which rules the country. And 5, pottery is the last one. D, pots and dishes and other things that are made from clay, so like plates or things we use in our kitchen. Yes, let's watch the video and then we have some questions. So before watching the video, I'll show you the questions, so take a look at them, and after we finish the video we will check the answers. If you have finished checking it, so we will watch the video. It's like 2 minutes.
The town of Nabu on the coast of Tunisia is famous for its pottery. But now, local craftsmen say their work is in danger because large companies and foreign imports are filling the market with cheaper products. Anwar Torki has been a craftsman for 40 years, making pottery by hand, but much of his work has gone.
التجار هذوما الكبار هم اللي يحتكروا في كل شيء، يستغل لك بأي شيء.
The richer pottery traders control everything and exploit artisans. Another important factor is the high tax we have to pay and the foreign products that are on the market. We need to promote Tunisian products and protect our market.
Artisans have to pay 102 Tunisian dinars, or around $78 a month in income tax. They believe this is far too high. Some have changed their working lives.
I work only 3 or 4 months each year. Often I'm forced to leave my job when demand drops. I have to look for other sources of income.
However, some believe the Tunisian pottery industry can compete effectively.
We can compete with external markets by providing high-quality products here in Tunisia. In this way, we can develop our pottery industry. If we continue using the same old traditional methods, this workmanship will decline.
Tunisian artisans and craftsmen who produce pottery the traditional way are hoping for help from the Tunisian government so they can compete with large pottery traders and cheap international imports.
Yes, let's get back to the questions. True, false. In the pottery industry in Tunisia, there are too many cheap imports and high taxes. It's true. The first guy over the talking, so he was telling that the taxes are too high and there are too many import products. So it's true. Second one, the tax the potters have to pay is around $78 a month. It was true. And the third one, they compete with the cheaper imports by exporting their own pottery at lower prices. That is the only way to compete for now. But it is not true, so it is false. And the last one, the artisans think the international importers and traders should help them. It is false again, because the first one, this is not the only way to compete. They think they can compete with the more quality products, about the 3 I'm talking. And the fourth one, they do not help by the international importers or traders. They need help by the government. It's about the taxes. So by providing higher quality products and the Tunisian government, as you see from the answer key. Yes, before reading the text, let's take a look at the vocabulary, because before we read it, we need to find the vocabulary. I'm going to give you 1 minute to check them, and then I'll give you the answer to match them. Okay, let's start. So we're going to start with the first one, flaw. Flaw is a mistake or imperfection made by someone. Imitate. Imitate is copy. So you copy something, to copy something, to do something in the same way. So imitation phones or some pottery, some product. So you imitate the way they do it. An incident. Incident is an event or occurrence, like happening, incident, what happened, what the incident. And modest, it is a characteristic of not talking about your achievements or success. So a modest person is an adjective for people. So if there is a modest person, he or she doesn't like to talk about himself or herself. And piece, it is a complete artwork, such as a painting or sculpture, a piece of art, generally they say. And practice, it is a method or way of doing something, a practice, a way. And smash, it's a strong verb actually. It is the synonym of break something, but it is stronger, as I told you. A, to break something with force or into many pieces actually. And the last one is value. It is which one? D, to consider something as important, its value. You can see the answers here also. Yes, now we're going to skim the reading. Remember that in the skimming we were just going to, take a look at them for 1 or 2 minutes to take the main idea or about the organization. Here the book asks us, how is the reading organized? From past events to present event to future, so it's a time, flow. Or from definitions to examples to applications, what is the flow? And explanation to advantages to disadvantages. Or definitions to comparison to contrast. Or the last one is from problems to solutions to advantages. Which one is the organization of the reading text? So I want you to take a look at the text for 1 or 2 minutes. I will show you each of them shortly, then I'll show you the answer. Just take a look at the main topics, the topic sentences. Even by checking them you can get what it is. You may not see the options here, but you have the books, so you can check them with your books in front of you. Now let's go back to the answer. So the text, if we actually take a short look, we can see that the text organization is from definitions to examples to application of it. How? For example, here it's underlined. It says Kinjoshi, roughly translated to meant with gold. What was it saying? From definitions to examples. And after that it is explaining and giving some examples. After that, again, here it says Japanese philosophy, that of wabi-sabi. This is harder to translate it to English. Again, there's a try to explain it. There's a definition. So even by checking the main points, just the topic sentences, I can understand that the organization is the second one, from definitions to examples to applications. Now, after reading activity, the book asks us to find some words from the text and then choose the correct vocabulary to replace them. Synonym of them. The example is the first one. This is the practice among the certain craftsmen of mending, by changing the shape, the broken pieces of pottery. So we can replace this practice with habit. But how can we do it? We may not do it. We may not be able to do it by just checking from here. The only way to do it, to go back to the sentences and find their places in the sentences. Context. We need to check the context. So let's go find the leader. Knowing the leader's bad temper. Here on top. Knowing the leader's bad temper, his guests worried and he would punish this servant. So this leader is about kind of king in Japan. So if you read the passage, you can easily find that it's a person who ruled the country. So let's go there. And it says knowing the leader's bad temper, so we can understand this leader goes to present. Third one, because the vessel could be repaired. Normally, we know the vessel as a vehicle, like a ship. But let's see if it is like that. Instead, because the vessel could be repaired, the ruler had a new appreciation for its strength and ability to survive. So, this vessel actually is about a ball. He was able to see that ball's beauty hadn't been destroyed. So, they are talking about a ball. So, it's not a vehicle, it's not a ship. So, it is a ball. So, this is the only way to find their synonym from the text. Fourth one, the international mistake reminds them. What is this mistake in the sentences? Let's go back and find mistake. Yes. The international mistake reminds them to be modest about their work. So it's the way we know actually. So let's check. Like you remember in the vocabulary part in the first. Look. Here Flo was saying that mistake or imperfection. That's why we always do the vocabulary preview first, then we read. Now we know with which one I can replace this mistake. So the answer is flaw. And the last one square that didn't match the rest of the blanket. So what is this blanket in the passage? Let's see. Here. Similarly, some early American settlers known as the Prussians included a humility square when they sewed a quilt. So now we know the answers quilt. So that is the last one. So the last activity is true false by understanding it. So here when we read it we can find the answers quickly. There are just 5 of them. 1. A dish that has been mended with the Kingscrew technique will be more expensive than the original. And 2. Kingscrew is an older tradition that carpet making in Iran. And 3. A piece of art made in the wabi-sabi doesn't look handmade. And 4. A humility square is a type of deliberate flaw. What is deliberate? Like on purpose. So they know what to do. And 5, if you deliberately, again the same word, make mistakes in your life, you will feel less anxious. So the answers are like this. Yes, true, it is expensive, it is more expensive with this technique, but there is no information about this carpet making in Iran. There are some information about carpet making in Iran, but it is not about this, if it's older or not. And 3, a piece of art made in wabi-sabi doesn't look handmade. Actually it does. That's why it's false. And 4, a humility square is a type of deliberate flaw. Yes, it is a mistake. This is a deliberate, on purpose mistake. And the last one, if you deliberately make mistakes in your life, you will feel less anxious. You may think that, you may agree on it, but in the passage there is no information about it. That's why it is not given. So that's it from me. Thank you for listening to me and see you for the next lesson.